All right, hey VC, I'm Jamie. Welcome back, and we are back with another video. And it's a sealed to reveal this time, a double CD that has just arrived. But don't worry, I also have plenty of vinyl to show, as I've got some recent vinyl finds and vinyl grabs. So it has, yes, just arrived. This is the double CD, the Eagles, live from the Forum 2018. Now, this features the current lineup of the group: Vince Gill and Glenn Frey's son Deacon. Now, whether the Eagles should have continued on after the death of Glenn Frey is certainly open for debate. But boy, in the VC world, the Eagles are quite a polarizing group. There are many that love the Eagles and many that do not. So we're going to take a look at this. And the last time I saw the Eagles, well, the first and only time I've ever seen the Eagles, was back in 2013, July 9th. And this was in Cleveland, Ohio. And we were there with another couple. Of course, this is when you could travel across the border. So yeah, we were in Cleveland, Ohio. We took in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame during the day, and we're just lucky enough to get some last minute tickets for the Eagles that were in town at the Quicken Loan Arena. I think it's called something different now. But yeah, so that was the history of the Eagles tour from 2013, and then of course later finding out that Glenn Frey passed away a few years later in 2016. But boy, that was just a terrific concert. So again, this features the current lineup with Vince Gill and Deacon Frey. I haven't had a chance to hear any of this yet, so looking forward to it. So yeah, let's take a look inside. So it's available in a couple of configurations. I believe a 2 CD, also a DVD and Blu-ray set. This also includes the DVD. So look forward to looking at that. And so the hype sticker there saying 2 CD plus DVD, the new live album and full-length concert DVD, 26 classic tracks and over 2 hours of music, of course, featuring all the hits. And just a quick glance, it does look like they do a few solo stuff. They do Rocky Mountain Way. Also, looks like they do The Boys of Summer, Don Henley's track. So there is the cover. And here, that's the track listings here. I think you should be able to see that. And then the DVD is pretty much just the concert, everything from the CDs. It doesn't look like there's anything extra. You think they might have put on maybe, I don't know, backstage or interviews or something like that, but it doesn't appear. So those are the tracks on disc one and disc two, and then it seems to be pretty much just replicated for the DVD or Blu-ray. Okay, so there's that, and there's the spine there, and this will simply open up like that. And then like this. So we have the 3 discs there. You can see, and I'm sure there's a little booklet or something like that in there. So maybe I'll pop these. Let's take a look at the discs first. So we've got disc 1, because it does look like there's a little bit of artwork behind there. Nice artwork on the discs. So there's disc 1 and disc 2 and disc 3, which is the DVD or Blu-ray, and then yeah, just some pretty straightforward artwork behind there. Okay, so there you have that, and what's in the booklet? And pretty straightforward booklet. I think these are the basic configurations for this release. But looking forward to listening to it. Vince Gill is a great guitarist. I have lots of respect for Vince Gill as an artist for sure. And I don't think they've released any studio stuff with Vince Gill and Deacon Frey, but we shall see. You know, can't take away the musicianship from this band for sure. Okay, pretty straightforward booklet. And there you go, live from the Forum. And that is from 2018. So yeah, looking forward to that. Okay, so let's take a look at some recent vinyl finds, vinyl grabs. First off, I was absolutely thrilled with this album. This was kind of a blind buy. I didn't know too much about this group. This is Ashanti, and this came out in 1971. And this is an amazing sort of world music, or a wonderful fusion between sort of Indian music and country rock. It's almost kind of something like Ravi Shankar meets the band. Maybe not quite, but it has that kind of feel to it. Really tight band, and this is absolutely wonderful. This came out in 1971. Great from start to finish, and again, just a real fusion of the two styles of music. And this came out on Atlantic. I think they didn't release too many albums. This may be the only one that they released but really enjoyed this. And as I said, didn't know anything about the band. The cover looked interesting, and of course on Atlantic Records. So I'm so glad I picked that up. Really well worth it. Picked this up. Didn't know anything about this band. This was only for a couple of bucks. I think I paid $3 for this. You may not recognize anything from the cover there. This is the band Six Organs of Admittance, and the album is called Ascent. Now, this band has released a number of albums, and sort of musically, it's all over the place. Some of the guitar work is like really heavy, and then it gets really, very like the moods shifts throughout the entire album. As I say, it kind of runs the gamut. His guitar playing, the featured band member, his guitar playing kind of reminds me of Neil Young when Neil gets really sort of grungy. But this was really, it's quite a journey. I'm going to have to listen to this album a few more times. But I love the insert to this. At first, when I took it out of the record, I thought, what the heck's going on? Is this the receipt or something like that? The insert is basically on like computer paper, but this is actually sort of like the insert for the record. I just thought that was a lot of fun. So I think it's Ben Chasney, lead guitar and vocals. He's the main person with the group. I don't know really a lot about this group, but this came out, I believe, in 2012. They do have a number of albums, but anyone that has more information about this group, yeah, just certainly drop a comment and let us know. But really enjoyed this, and again, didn't really know anything about this group. Again, the cover looked interesting and thought I'd take a chance. And really, it was only $3 for whatever reason. I don't quite know why. So, and side B, but really enjoyable. And certainly I know about this band for sure. This is the band War, and this is their double live album. I had never seen this before, this double live album. And I think there's only roughly about 7 songs in total, but this just cooks from start to finish. It is terrific. Now, I think initially this was released with like a big sort of hype sticker that said War Live and gave the track listings. There's actually no listings of the songs or the band members anywhere on here. It's just continuous photographs throughout. But I think initially, and I think then later copies would have War Live written on here. This came out in 1973. Just terrific. This War was such a great band, and this came with sort of very sort of heavy-duty black cardboard inner sleeves, and these are the actual inner sleeves because the number on the corner here does correspond with a number of the record here, and then of course on the Classic United Artists label War. But really a great album. Let me see if I can show you. And then this follows the old style of side 1 tracks here, and then the flip side actually is side 4. And then I'll show you the track listings for the other album, which of course is side 2 and 3. Again, the same. And then we'll do side 3, track listing there, and side 4. But a terrific album. I didn't even know there was a double live War album, but really happy to come across that for sure. Always happy to come across any and all Van Morrison. This is Van Morrison in Articulate Speech of the Heart, another wonderful Van Morrison album to listen to. This is on Warner Brothers Records from 1983, Canadian pressing. And I don't think this came with any sort of sleeve or insert. I could be wrong on that, but another wonderful album to listen to from start to finish. Can't get enough Van Morrison. Okay, initially I had this on CD and wasn't even aware that they had released it on vinyl. I guess I'm not really surprised, but this is a fun compilation. This is for Greenpeace. This is Greenpeace Rainbow Warriors, and this came out in 1989 on Geffen Records, and it's pretty much just a straightforward compilation, if you will. These artists, lending their music to this great cause. So there's nothing that's specially recorded for this compilation, but in terms of just listening to it, it is a great late kind of 80s compilation. Great selection of artists. I mean, you got World Party, also the Waterboys, John Farnham, REM, Talking Heads, Simple Minds, Grateful Dead on here as well. It's a great Great double album, and it was released as like a double CD, but initially it was like two separate CDs, and there wasn't even really, as I recall, a lot of artwork like inside. I haven't dug out my CDs, but I recall them being very straightforward. Whereas this compilation, in terms of vinyl, is a lot of fun, and I know this artwork was not on the CDs. So that's kind of fun there. So yeah, this was a lot of fun to listen to for sure. And on the Geffen label. So yeah, Greenpeace, Rainbow Warriors brought back some memories. Okay, I'm always a huge fan of this artist, Graham Nash. This is the album Innocent Eyes. Unfortunately, this is a very forgettable album. This one came out in 1986, and certainly many great 60s, even 70s artists were struggling through the 80s, trying to find their identity, trying to find their sound. It's indicative on this album. It has too much of that 80s kind of production. That doesn't work for Graham Nash. Some calypso notes. The song Chippin' Away is fun to listen to, but unfortunately, with Graham Nash, this is a very forgettable album and a very forgettable sort of cover. As I say, as much as I really have a lot of respect for Graham Nash, unfortunately, not exactly one of his best. But nice to see it had the inner sleeve, and of course on the classic Atlantic Records label. Alan Parsons Project. I'm always amazed how cheaply you can find Alan Parsons albums for in general. This is the album Eve. I always thought this was an interesting cover at first glance, and then when you take a look closer at it, you can see the the blemishes or the warts, if you will, on their faces. It's just I'm pretty sure this is a Hypnosis design cover, so it's interesting when you can look at a photo or photography one way, and then when you look a little closer, it's kind of interesting that way. Nice artwork and presentation. Again, it's another great Alan Parsons album, and as I say, I'm just always amazed how cheaply you seem to be able to find Alan Parsons Project albums, and even the stylized label here. And like that, yeah, another great Alan Parsons album. And this came out in 1979 on Arista. Okay, a compilation, Maple Music Volume 2. So this came out in the early 70s. There were two volumes. The first volume was kind of straight ahead, great sort of early 70s Canadian pop. I think the first volume featured bands like Crowbar and Lighthouse. This one is more of a singer-songwriter focus, maybe with some country leanings, but a really interesting selection of artists featured on this. So these are not like K-Tel cut down singles, so these feature bands or artists like Bruce Cockburn, also the Mercy Brothers, which was a country act. Murray McLaughlin's featured on here, but I couldn't believe Perth County Conspiracy has a track on here, which again, fairly rare. Also the band Pepper Tree has one of their singles, Love is a Railroad, because Pepper Tree I think only released one album and then a few singles, so one of their singles is available on here. Love is a Railroad. Also, Gary Buck, who's a country artist, Andre Gagnon featured on here. So this is a really great compilation of some early 70s singer-songwriter, kind of country folk, again featuring Perth County Conspiracy, so I was pretty pleased about that. And it plays great, and this is simply on the, I guess, the Maple Music label. And I think, as I recall, they only did just 2 volumes of this. There could be more, but really happy to pick that up. Always happy to pick up any Johnny Winter. This is Johnny Winter, Nothing But the Blues, and I forgot, my gosh, this was at that time with Johnny Winter working with Muddy Waters and James Cotton, who are, of course, featured on this album. Oh my gosh, this is such a great album. Johnny Winter's Nothing But the Blues. So good. And on Columbia. Okay. I've been reading the Elton John biography, Me, which is quite the read. And of course, talking about Elton John earlier, his career working with John Baldry, or Long John Baldry. So this is Long John Baldry, and It Ain't Easy. And Long John Baldry, who gets forgotten about. He also, Long John Baldry, wound up actually emigrating to Canada. But he's one of those kind of artists, blues artists, that does get forgotten about. And this is a very unique album. This was kind of a tribute or payback. This album, side 1 on this album is produced by Rod Stewart, and side 2 is produced by Elton John, as you can see them here. Now, Elton John is featured on side 2. Rod Stewart does not sing or is not featured on side 1, but also Ron Wood's on here. And this is a great album from start to finish. There's an Elton John track on here, Rock Me When He's Gone. And then they also do the track Flying on Elton John's side. Ironically, they don't do it on the Rod Stewart side. But what a great album, great tribute. And this album was talked about in the Elton John biography. And this came with the original inner sleeve, talking about all those great Lost Leader compilations. Oh, my goodness. And this on the classic heavy green Warner Brothers label. Okay, and picked up one other Long John Baldry album. This is a later Long John Baldry once he emigrated to Canada and started releasing a number of albums. This one on EMI, and this was recorded at Grant Avenue Studios, I believe in Hamilton, of course, and then this features engineers by the name of Dan Lanois, of course, Daniel Lanois producing this. And it's another, bluesy style Long John Baldry album. And usually you can find Long John Baldry albums pretty inexpensively. So I'm going to definitely have to be on the lookout for more Long John Baldry. So this is on EMI. This is listed as EMI America, but it is a Canadian press from 1980. And this one, as I recall, he does a cover of the track Any Day Now, which did get some radio hits, radio play. And these things here, I don't know if we talked about this. This is the maple sticker. So for radio play predominantly, this tells you if it qualifies as something like Canadian content. So the maple sticker, music by a Canadian, the artist is Canadian, the lyrics by a Canadian, or produced in Canada. So if it's got all 4, that means, and it only needs 2 to qualify for radio play at the time. So if it has 4, you have nothing to worry about. And then by this time, Long John Baldry was considered Canadian artist, and so if it's got 2, like the artist and produced in Canada, if both of those are filled in, if you will, it can also qualify for Canadian radio play, that sort of thing. So there's the history lesson on the maple stickers, if you ever see those on albums and are curious what that's all about. Okay, how about some heavy rock? And this is Mountain and Twin Peaks. The cover's a little worn, but the music is rocking from start to finish, and I just love that Nantucket Sleigh Ride is divided into 2 parts for side 2 and on to side 3. Of course, heavy rock and stuff with Leslie West. Again, the cover's not in great shape, but it plays all right. Just love Mountain. I love the artwork on a lot of the Mountain albums. And this on Columbia Windfall label. Okay, I do have some Mountain on CD, but anytime I see some vinyl, I definitely pick it up. Okay, let's switch gears. We're going to go with Donny Osmond and Superstar. My wife has this album. My wife is a huge Donny Osmond fan, and I don't know, you're saying, oh yeah, sure, it's your wife who's the Donny Osmond fan. I don't mind Donny. My wife is a huge Donny Osmond fan. She has the album. I may have shown the album. But my wife didn't have the poster. I think the poster was long gone. She put it up on her wall and moved from city to city. So the poster's long gone. So I did pick up this copy, which actually does have the poster, which you rarely see. And I forgot that this was released on K-tel. And correct me if I'm wrong in terms of K-tel albums. This must be the only K-tel release that actually has a poster. I can't think of any K-tel release that came with a poster. Now, I could be wrong on that. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a double album, K-tel. Now, the poster is included, as I mentioned. There we go. There's Donny. And then both the albums and posters are located in here. Now, the poster has definitely been, shall we say, previously enjoyed because there's lots of tape on it, but it's not in bad condition. And the albums were in great condition on the, I'll show you the albums first here, on the classic K-tel. Donny Osmond, Superstar, K-tel International. But we've got to see the poster, because I've always heard about the poster, but I'd actually never, ever seen it. So this is the poster that is included, but it's got lots of tape on the side. Hopefully we'll be able to get this all in. Here we go. So yeah, it's pretty much matches the cover. Just a lot bigger here. And Donny Osmond Superstar, but you can see the tape still on here. I'm surprised that this poster was kept and actually returned to the vinyl record, to the sleeve. But there you go. It's a good sized poster, but that was a nice little present for my wife there. Okay, let's go with the Boz Scaggs' first album. This is a great album, and this, again, this is Boz Scaggs, fresh from Steve Miller Band, so it has a lot of that nice bluesy sound. If you were listening to this and didn't know who was playing, you probably wouldn't guess it was Boz Scaggs. Even his vocals are different from the way his vocals then progressed, the way his music then became a lot more sort of radio friendly, AC friendly, well after this. But this is a great album that features Duane Allman, Duane Skydog Allman. Oh my goodness. So great. And some say if you're going to own one Boz Scaggs album, this is the one to own. I would be inclined to agree. Although I do like Boz Scaggs, but this first album is just terrific. And on Atlantic. Okay, I've been coming across some Leon Russell recently, which is great. And again, Leon Russell is mentioned often in the Elton John biography. Elton John is a huge Leon Russell fan. So this is Leon and Mary Russell and the album, Wedding Album. And this is a great album. Nice and funky, soulful from start to finish. Really a really nice album. This one was still in the shrink on the Paradise label from 1976. And I think they only made a couple of albums together. But really, really great, Leon Russell on Paradise. Okay, I'm surprised I didn't have this album on vinyl, but picked up a Deep Purple and Come Taste the Band. And I forgot that, gosh, with all the different Deep Purple configurations, this was the only one to feature Tommy Bolin in the studio as part from the live stuff. So I think it's a great album. And yeah, not too much. I don't know if it's missing any inserts on the sleeve or anything like that. I've got a feeling it is on this, but hey, plays great and enjoy it. Oops. But yeah, Deep Purple with Tommy Bolin and Come Taste the Band. Well, that's going to do it for me, Jamie Cottle, so we'll chat again. And thanks to all the subscribers recently, too. Have a great one. We'll talk again. Bye.